Hi, welcome to Relax and Chat, episode 36. Today we have a great guest. We have author C.J. Grant has an upcoming novel called Sometimes Death is a Blessing. It's something very exciting. I know you're going to love this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, C.J. Grant. How you doing today, C.J.?
I'm doing great, Rod. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. A little bit of technical difficulty there, but we got beyond it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. I haven't read your novel yet, but I got a good look at it on Amazon, and everything I read is fast-paced, exciting. Rain Thompson sounds like an incredible character. So perhaps, if you would, we can start with maybe some tidbits about the story, some of the plot line without giving away spoilers. Sort of what's Rain Thompson's life like? Let's let the audience know about this book that's coming out September 8th. It's released.
September 8th.
September 8th is the release date. So you won't be looking
Absolutely.
for this. What do you say? Tell us a little bit about this story.
Well, Rain Thompson was is a young woman. She was raised in Western Virginia in Grundy County. Buchanan County. I decided to make her home. And she grew up on a farm, hunting and just being outdoors and things like that. But after her grandfather died, she decided to just travel east, ended up in the Washington, D.C. area, found herself in a little bit of trouble, partly through her own fault. And as such, she was picked up by a secret agency for meddling into their affairs unwittingly, and they decided she'd make a great agent. So she
Oh,
was recruited by the agent, and now she works for Domestic Security Services. It's an innocuous sounding name for a country that will kill, for an agency that will kill to protect the country.
wow.
Yes.
Ooh, it sounds like it's going to have a lot of action and stuff.
I
Yeah.
hope so. I've included a lot of it, a lot of fight scenes, did a lot of research on that, a lot of fun.
Is she excited or reluctant to become an agent?
She is reluctant. She
Ooh.
was raised with a sense of justice, but she was also raised with certain morals that, killing is wrong
Uh-huh.
unless, you know, frontier justice sort of thing. If somebody did you wrong, then, an eye for an eye. But the idea of killing for a living doesn't quite sit well
Oh.
with her.
Oh, that sounds cool. That conflict. You need conflict in a story. And I'm guessing from what I
She
read,
definitely is conflicted about her job.
from
I'm sorry.
what I read about the book, I'm gonna say that she is having this conflict, but in an incredibly fast-paced environment. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely, because once a agent is assigned to a case, it's usually a ticking bomb happening. The clock is winding down, and she only has, minutes, hours, days to solve the problem.
Wow. And she's not an experienced, older, almost ready to retire. This is a young lady that's like, bam, here I am, and I've got to deal with this, right?
Right.
Wow. Yeah, I can see the tension that'll
Think quick, quick,
book.
and be fast on your feet.
Sounds fantastic. It really does. Looking forward to seeing that one. I'm gonna get me a copy of that. Audience, doesn't this sound like a fantastic story? Sometimes death is a blessing. September 8th. You can pre-order it now, right?
Absolutely.
Pre-orders available right now, audience. That's exciting. You want to get this book. You want to check
It's
it out.
available at most retailers.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Hmm?
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next section a little bit. Um, Before I do, I want to mention that I had to look you up a little bit to see who you were. And I saw that a few years back, you self-published, if I'm not mistaken, Kit's Rebellion.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I want you to know I'm going to put a link to that in the description too, because that is a dystopian tale, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what I read about it sounded really neat. So, audience, there's not one, but two cool stories to check out on Amazon. So right after this show, we'll all go. I'll go too. We'll go to Amazon. We'll pick us up some great books. Okay, with that said, I'm sorry to take up so much of your time, but Want to move on and let you have an opportunity, as I do most every guest, to share with the audience anything you like. You can share something about how and why you became a writer. You can share stuff about your story, anything at all. I don't censor. So the stage is yours.
Well, I became a writer later in life, but I've always been a storyteller. And I started out telling myself stories because I have tinnitus and I've had it all my life. There's always a ringing in my ears. Once in a while, the ringing stops for a few seconds, and I think I've gone spontaneously deaf because the
Oh,
noise isn't there and I'm so used to it. So I
oh,
do this to see if I'm deaf and I'm not. And then the ringing comes back and all is well again. But to fall asleep, I used to tell myself stories. And it
oh.
started as a child. I have long running series of stories going on kind of like a soap opera. And, one day I decided I should write some stuff down. I mean, I love telling stories. I love putting them together. I love characters. And I started writing stories probably in my 40s, actually.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't really start till then, but at that point, I just put, pen to paper and fingers to keyboard, and stories started pouring out of me.
Oh, that's fantastic. I don't think you're ever too old. I was in my mid 50s, as a matter of fact, when I
Hmm.
started taking it seriously. Of course, I wrote as a kid, but when I sat down and said, I'm going to write and I'm going to become a writer, and I wrote that first paragraph and officially became a writer, I was into my 50s. You're never too old
Yeah,
to get started, you know?
no. People start in their 70s and do very well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like being a singer. You got to
Hmm.
stop in your heart and you got to let it out. The story is the same way.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask for the audience's sake and for my own sake as well. We all want to know more about you than this little tiny show can do. So, if you have a website and social media, stuff like that, I would love for you to share that. And I and many in the audience will be coming along to say hi.
Well, of course, I have Facebook, author CJ Grant, Instagram, author CJ Grant, Twitter, and Blue Sky, again, CJ Grant.
Ah,
And I've dipped my toe into TikTok.
mm.
Not so much my face, but I've been putting up slideshows with little snippets from the book and things like that. So CJ Grant has a TikTok.
Oh, wow. There's many ways to reach CJ. So you want to say hello to her. I got a feeling there would be tons of good stuff to talk about. And
That would be a lot of fun.
I think I heard somewhere that when you have the time, you actually do a little bit of editing on the side.
I do. I do line and copy editing. That's my niche. That's where I'm most comfortable.
Cool.
And I have some lots of repeat clients, so I'm working with a small group of people, but I'm busy all the time.
Wow. Well, maybe on the social media, do a little post. Hey, I'm open because I know a lot of writers on Twitter. And, let's be honest, any writer that really wants to be a writer, they're not
Hmm.
playing with Tin Man, the AI. They're not playing with that garbage.
No.
They're looking for a good editor.
And
And
you can't edit with AI. AI has no idea of nuance and subtlety and humor.
oh yeah, yeah, I'm well known to speak against AI in the creative arts. It doesn't belong there in any
Hmm. And they
the
get commas and close quotes wrong all the time.
oh yeah, in writing, God, editing's a joke. AI is not an editor.
No.
And in writing and in music and in art of any kind, I don't think
Hmm.
AI belongs. It may have great uses in other areas,
Hmm.
but not in the creative arts,
Well, we're on the same page there.
Yeah, so you being an editor, you'll be in great demand. Just let people know when you're available.
I call my little business Cindy's Fix-It Shop. So it's like a
Oh, that sounds
little
wonderful.
handyman fix-it shop for
Yeah, that
editing, for
sounds fantastic.
manuscripts.
Now, out of curiosity, do you have an actual website yet?
I have my author website and I put information on there about the editing, but I don't have a separate editing website at this time.
Yeah, you don't really have to have it separate. How does someone find your actual website?
It's just put in author CJ Grant. It'll pop up.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I'll actually take a look myself. Can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
I think every author should have a website nowadays. It's just a great little hub where everything else can branch off from.
And mine's a very simple one. I did it myself, so, do it yourself, but it does its job.
Yeah, yeah, that's all it needs to do. Sometimes people get a little too carried away with trying to make it real fancy and carnival
Hmm.
bells and whistles. And you go on there as a reader or just, wandering by and you're like, yeah, let's have a nice, calm visit with a pleasant cup of coffee or cocoa or tea. Let's not be jumping off a skyscraper, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, I gotta say, my little show doesn't run very long, but it is entertaining, and you are an amazing guest to have on here. Uh,
Thank you.
is there anything else at all that you would like to share with the audience? They would be open to anything, I'm sure, because you've done such a wonderful job in this interview. You really have.
Well, how about my inspiration for the story?
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I wonder, especially, I wouldn't even know where to start with, a secret agency and all of that. I wouldn't even know how to begin. So yeah, it'd be really fun to hear that.
Well, it started actually with a short story that I wrote in, I believe it was 2019. And I submitted it to a few magazines, got a lot of this is nice, but not for us. And then I submitted to Close to the Bone magazine in Britain. They're in the United Kingdom. That's a really cool magazine, by the way, for if you're into thrillers.
Hmm.
And they published it, and it got a lot of traction. A lot of comments came on it, and the characters that I wrote for that little short story really stuck with me. And so I began just doodling, thinking, playing with the idea of a novel, and suddenly the whole plot just came out.
Mm.
And I began writing that story, and the short story that I wrote for the magazine became the subplot of this bigger novel.
Oh,
So
that's
that's how I pulled that together. Now, the way I got the idea for the short story was when I was a child, my father would work late. My mother would lay on the couch and watch crime dramas from the 70s.
uh-huh.
And I would sneak down the stairs, peek around the corner because she was facing the other way. And with one eye, I would watch the shows with her, with her. And then I'd sneak back upstairs when she went to the bathroom, and I got to see some of the 70s crime dramas. And there was one episode that I remember to this day because it just struck me so hard. And that's what inspired the short story that inspired the novel.
Wow, that's
So you
cool.
never know what's coming back in your life.
Oh yeah. And I have in the last 5 years in the different areas of work that I do, I've made friends from everywhere in the world. I've got friends in
Mhm.
England, Australia, Nigeria, and virtually all of the United States. It's so wonderful. The writing community is so welcoming, and there's so much fun stuff to do. And I saw on Amazon that your upcoming book is published by Running Wild Press. And
Correct.
I know the owner of that press, Lisa Kastner. What an amazing
Hmm.
woman. She inspired everything that I do. She was my inspiration for virtually everything. And I got to ask you, because she has a whole bunch of them. Who was your editor for the book?
That was Amy Hardy, and she is also a Running Wild author. She
Yeah.
wrote A Pocket Full of Teeth
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and another Southern Gothic, really creepy kind of novel, really cool.
Yeah, she's one of their top shelf editors. She's amazing.
Hmm.
And
Yes, she is.
I worked briefly for Running Wild Press as an editor myself and got to know a few of them. What an amazing group of people. Running Wild Press is top shelf. Excellent. You
Absolutely.
know, I mean, the people there, they all care about their writers. They all put in 150%. And the queen of the hill is Lisa. God, she's an amazing woman. Have you had much chance to chat with her?
Not a lot. I tune into her podcasts and webcasts, but I work days, she works. We do our best to communicate,
Yeah.
online and, through email, but gosh, everybody's moving in different directions all the
Yeah.
time.
That poor woman, she's amazing. She really is. Hard
I don't
working.
know how she gets it all done.
Yeah, well, she gets up at like 3 a.m. and works until 2 a.m., I think. That she never stops working. She is the hardest working person I know. And I know this is about your book, and I'm very excited about your book, but I thought it was worth mentioning the press. And oh my. There won't be any errors, no typos. One of the best editors I've ever known of. Oh, you are so great. I'm going to get this book and read it.
I'd be
Ladies and
delighted,
gentlemen,
and I hope you'll leave me a review.
sometimes death is a blessing. CJ Grant. Right after this show, I'm headed for Amazon. You should too. This is going to be something amazing. CJ, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. What an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad you made the time. It is,
Thank you for having me.
it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful hearing about the story and the inspiration, just everything, just absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see all the many, many stories that you'll publish in the future. Going to be really great watching you climb to the top.
I hope so. This is the part this first in the series, so there'll
Oh,
be more coming.
fantastic. It's going to be a whole series.
Yes.
Ooh, that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. And you do short stories as well, right?
Yes, I do. Hmm.
Fantastic. Oh, so exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those occasions when I am so bummed out. I don't want to stop the show, but I use the free version of Zoom and they're going to black out on me. So I might as well have the courtesy to tell you I'm so glad you came to see the show, folks. CJ Grant, super amazing to meet you and have a chance to chat with you. So looking forward to reading your work. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we've come to the end of episode 36 of Relax and Chat. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you.